Okay, we are going to learn how to edit on Lightroom, not Lightroom Classic. So you will need to install and open up Lightroom. There's a video on how to do that. But you will have to have these photos in a folder on your computer. And once you have Lightroom open, yours will look different, obviously. I use mine a lot. But you are going to go to the top left-hand corner where it says Add Photos. Click that, and then you need to find your folder to import those. So I'm going to review for import, and we need all three of these. So I'm going to add those. And then as you see, they're going to show up in our image strip down below. Okay, why we love Lightroom is Lightroom is super easy to use. It also automatically saves things, and it's just really great if you are editing lots of photos, doing small little edits. So you can see this is going to be your library. You can see right now I just added 3 photos. The issue with Lightroom is if you already added in a photo, you can't add it in again. Just keep that in mind. As you can see over here, it's my just now. If you need to go to all your photos, you can. But I'm going to go back to my all. So over on our right hand panel is our actual editing panel. So up at the very tippity top, these are our preset filters, which we will be using. We also have then our edit filter or edit option. We have a crop, we have a remove, and then we have masking, which we will use all of these. So let's go first to just the edit tab. So as you can see when you go to the edit tab, there's a lot of stuff that you can play around with. So exposure I feel like is pretty good, but let's bump up our contrast to get a little bit more pop. I also want to go down to my deets, my effects, and I'm going to take up my texture a little bit because I really love that I can see the texture of the roses. And that looks good. Let's also go down to a lens blur because I really want to blur all of this stuff around. So we're going to first apply, wait for AI to analyze it. Just wait. Okay. And then you can play around with the different options, but you on your own photos. But for this, you're going to follow exactly what I'm doing. So we're going to click on the bokeh and we're going to increase it. So as you can see, my blur of this like framing is really, really, really blurred. So I like that. That I think is pretty good. Let's check out our preset filters though. So preset filters, these are the double circlies, which these are just like filters that you throw on when you're editing in Instagram or Instagram on your phone, things like that. Mine's just loading, so give it a little bit of time. So recommended, as you can see, there are ones that pop up. Ooh, I really like. Let's go this nice dark pink. So you just click on it to apply it, and then you can adjust the mount. So let's bump it up to like 113. That I really like. So I'm gonna just close those tabs, those windows, and we have a really, really nice pinky looking image. Okay, let's move to our next one. Let's go to our Buddha. Okay, so one right off of the bat, I hate that this is crooked. So let's go to our crop tab. And then right now, I can, if I want to try to straighten it, I can do it on my own, or I can click this straighten button and it's gonna try to figure it out and click the auto. It's gonna read this line back here and I'm gonna push enter to apply it. So that I like, and I'm gonna crop it a little bit more as well. That I like. Okay, so my Buddha is nice in the center. Let's start playing with some masking. So I like that the Buddha is nice and textured, really close, but I don't like that there's color back here. So let's navigate down to our masking, which these are AI masks, which we're gonna start off doing this. So we're gonna click our subject one. It's using AI and it's analyzing the picture, and the red is telling you what is selected. So let's bump up the exposure just slightly to get it a little bit brighter. Definitely bumping up the contrast. I am going to definitely bump up the texture on this one and sharpen it as well. Okay, cool. But I want to get rid of all of the color except for the Buddha. So I'm going to go up to my mask right here. And if I right click on my mask, I can duplicate and invert my mask, it's called. So now everything other than the Buddha is selected. And I'm going to go back up to the saturation and desaturate it so there's no color other than the Buddha and this little bit of blue shadow, which if I want, I can click back into the mask, and if I want to desaturate that as well too, so I don't have the blue, it's just this nice color or silvery looking picture, which I like. So I'm going to apply that, remove or just get out of that masking tab. Let's see what preset filters might look good on this as well. A lot of the times if you have good photos, you don't need to do a lot of editing. We're just going to usually do some simple editing, maybe crop it, throw on a preset filter, maybe do some other things. Ooh, I like this really darker one. So let's go with that one. Okay, let's move to our mushroom. So our mushroom, I don't like that we have these distracting areas right here. So I'm gonna go to the remove tool, and then there's 3 different ones that you can use. I generally use this remove panel, and we're just gonna draw over the area that we want to remove it. It's gonna use AI, and hopefully it can figure it out to remove what we wanna remove. If you need to make your brush bigger or smaller, to make your brush bigger, it's the right bracket. To make it smaller, it's the left bracket. And we generally want our brush to just cover the area that we need to clean up. So I adjusted it to only cover that area, and now that's done. Got rid of that. I'm also going to get rid of that little back area, but I really like this blue, and I don't like this bottom, so let's just crop that out quick. Boom. Okay, let's go back to our mask, and we'll see if it can select the subject. I already know just from editing already, it struggles to get the top of the mushroom. So if you go to your mask, we're gonna add it in with our brush. So we're just gonna draw over, I usually will go around the outside and then color it in the middle is my technique to do that. And I love masks because you can go back in and clean it up after the fact. So I can go in, if you hold Alt Option, I can then remove areas of the mask. If I need to zoom in to see, go Control minus, and then you can zoom in. The space bar is the hand tool, so I can easily navigate around. So I'm gonna make this smaller with the left bracket. Hold Alt Option and clean that up right there. Oh, but I need to add that area in. So let's make that bigger. Boom. It's worth it to take the time in the beginning to have a good selection, because then you won't have to edit things crazy later on. Okay, but let's go down. And right here, I'm gonna make this orange more orange, because orange and blue are complementary colors. So I'm gonna move this over to be more orange, bump up our saturation, bump up our texture. I'm gonna add some grain too. I like grain. Some texture on it's really good. So that I really like. Let's go back up to our mask, right click, duplicate and invert. So now everything other than the mushroom is selected. I'm gonna go back to the color, and I'm gonna make my blues more blue too. Blues more blue to my liking, which I like that. I can also take the temperature to be more blue. That I like. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, let's see if there is a preset filter. Maybe that will make this even a little bit better, because you can just navigate. So what I want you guys to do for this one is and this is the trick, is I want you to make this last one your choice. So let's go like really crazy. I'm gonna go crazy with it, but you're gonna do your choice of it. When you are done, we are going to select all of these. So if you hold Shift and click on like you're clicked on your mushroom, click on the row so it selects all of them, and you can see I've selected all of them because there's a box on the photos. And then up in the top right hand corner, there's a square and an arrow, meaning we're going to share this. So we are going to share it and put it back in our folder. We can go JPEG small for these, and JPEG's great because it's the most universal file format. I'm going to put it back in my composition to edit photos. We're going to export, and it's going to show you how your progress is up here. But if I go to my folder, I'm working on my Mac, these will slowly show up as I'm done exporting. So we're exporting, boom. There they are. I'm just waiting on my framing one. Okay, so you guys are going to turn in these 3 files to this assignment. You don't need to call a contact sheet. I'm just gonna look at these 3 files, and this is an all or nothing. You need to match my editing tutorial. You also cannot use these photos for your own composition photos because these are mine, I took them. You can't use that, that's copyright infringement. You have to use your photos, but this is just learning how to edit. So you'll just select these 3 and submit them to this assignment. Let me know if you guys have questions or need help, but should be pretty fun, should be pretty easy. And then when you're done with this, you can edit your own photos.